In this movie, we will see how to conduct one sample tests, whether they involve population mean or a population proportion, using JMP. Now, JMP makes conducting these hypothesis tests very intuitive, and it is the same whether we have one sample test about population mean or a one sample test about a population proportion. So let's start with the example of a one sample test about a population mean. So let's say the claim is that a tire lasts at least 50,000 miles before it can be replaced, and we know that the standard deviation of the population is 8,000. So this is our hypothesized value mu naught, and we also know the population standard deviation. But to check this, we conduct a survey of 32 tires, and these tires on an average last 46,500 miles. We want to see if the sample comes from a population where the claim that the lifetime of these tires is 50,000 miles or more is correct or incorrect. So we'll set up our null. Our null hypothesis is that our population mean is at least 50,000 miles, and our alternative is that our population mean is less than 50,000 miles. And the problem also gives us that our sample mean of the tires that we tested was 46,500 miles, and we are also given the population standard deviation as 8,000, and our sample size is 32. We want to conduct this test at an alpha of 0.05. So let's see how we can conduct this test in JMP. So to conduct the test, we again go to our calculators in JMP, which is from sample index, then clicking on tools and then calculators. But instead of looking at the distribution calculator, we will look at the test mean JSL calculator. So this question asks us, do we have raw data or summary stats? The difference is if we have raw data, then JMP will calculate for us the sample mean as well as the sample standard deviation. But in this case, we have summary stats because we are given the postulated values of the population. So we can now apply these. We will be conducting a z-test because we know the population standard deviation. We'll choose the z-test. Then the next question is it a left tail or a right tail test? That's given by the direction of the alternative. We will be conducting a left tail test. So we will choose the left tail option, that population mean is less than the hypothesized mean. Left tail, I'm going to choose this option. And now we can type in our values. Our hypothesized mean value is 50,000. Our sample average given to us is 46,500. Our population standard deviation is 8,000. Our sample size is 32. Our significance level is 0.05. That's all we need to conduct this test. And it tells us that our z-score is minus 2.47. Our critical value z-score is minus 1.64. So our z-score is much extreme than what we would at the 5% confidence level. You can also see that our p-value is 0.0067. So this p-value is much less than our critical value of 0.05. So we will be, in this case, rejecting the null. We can also click here to see the decision. It says rejecting the null. So we have evidence to suggest that the tires indeed last less than 50,000 miles. So now let's look at the next case where we do not know the population standard deviation. So here we're looking at consumption of chocolate, and the population average consumption of chocolate is 9.5. So our mu is 9.5. We conduct a survey in Hershey, Pennsylvania to see what is the average consumption and whether the residents in Hershey, Pennsylvania consume more chocolate than the national average. So we conduct a survey of 36 individuals, and the sample mean, or X bar, is 10.05, and our sample standard deviation is 1.5. So we want to construct the hypothesis appropriately first before we will use the calculator and jump. We hope to find the consumption of chocolate is higher in Hershey. So our null is that maybe they consume as much chocolate as the national average. So our mu is less than or equal to the national average of 9.5. And our alternative is that our mu is more than the national average of 9.5. And again, the information given to us is that our sample average is 10.05. Our sample standard deviation is 1.5, and our sample size is 36. We will use these values along with our postulated hypothesized value of 9.5 into the distribution calculator, into the test calculator and jump. So this time we will choose the t-test. That's because we do not know the population standard deviation. We will type in our hypothesized value of 9.5. We are doing a right tail test, so we can choose the right tail option. We'll do 9.5. Our sample average was 10.05. Our sample standard deviation is 1.5, and our sample size is 36. So now notice this is a t-distribution. The degrees of freedom will be n-1, which is 35. And given the t-distribution, our t-stat is 2.2. Our critical value is 1.68, and this t-stat is more extreme than our critical value. Then we can also look at our p-value. Our p-value is 0.017, which is less than our 0.05 level of significance. So in this case, we have enough evidence to reject a null. So we conclude that adults in Pennsylvania Hershey do indeed consume more chocolate than the national average. Let's now move on to conducting tests around a population proportion. So in this question, we are told that the average union membership in 2018 was 10.2. So our hypothesized population value is 0.102. And we conduct a survey of 400 individuals. So our n is 400. Our number of success is 47 who belong to the membership. And we want to test if our membership over time has increased or not. So we will formulate our null and the alternative. We are challenging this belief. We want to make what we hope to find as our alternative. So our null is that the union membership in 2013 is still the same as the national average, which is 0.102. Our alternative is that our membership has increased over time. It's more than 10.2%. So that's again all the information we need to conduct this test and jump. So again, same process, sample index, tools, calculators. This time we'll conduct a test around a proportion. So we'll click on the test proportion option. Asks us if we have raw data or summary stats. Again, we have summary stats. We will now set up our test. Our population proportion is not equal to, is it a left tail, two tail, right tail test? And here our alternative is that P is more than 0.102. So we will click on the right tail test. Our population is greater than the hypothesized proportion. Our hypothesized proportion value is 0.102. Our number of successes is 47. Our sample size is 400. The significance level is, again, alpha equals 0.05. Now, once we type in these values, we see that our estimated proportion is 0.1175. Our standard error of proportion, again using the population proportion, is 0.015. Our critical value is 1.64. The test statistic that we get with our test, or z, equals 0.102. So this is less than our critical value. And again, we're doing a right tail test, so this is less extreme than our critical value. So we can also look at the p-value. The p-value is 0.153. So we conclude that there isn't enough evidence for us to reject the null, because this is more than our level of significance. So here we cannot say that the population, the union membership is not less than or equal to 10.2% even in 2023.